Gosh, I've thought, why was she called Pop? Pop is, in the 20th century understanding, the name given to Dad. He's Pop. Even Grandad might be called Pop. We think of it as from Papa, the Victorian name for father, Papa, meaning Dad, you see. But I don't think it is. Well, it could be. But naming her Pop gave her a sort of male gender. And perhaps as a spinster, they were seeing her as a bit less feminine and so she took the role of being both in a way. You know, she's the one who paid for the car. She's the one who bought him a house and financed his second house too. I'd never thought of this before. Of course, I didn't know her well. I was too young when she died in hospital. She suffered from cancer. Had this taken off, this limb taken off, that one taken off. Mum was beside herself with the unhappiness of her physical state. Aunt Pop in hospital so often, and it was Pop that Mum too related to. And you wonder if in some sense this was the great help. That Mum loved Pop, not Annie, her mother-in-law. That was, poles apart. Annie didn't understand the plight of the poor at all. But Pop was different. She had a kindness and compassion that Mum couldn't see in Annie, her mother-in-law, but could see in Pop. And it's Pop that provided both the finance that blessed the marriage, really, and the kindness. Pop liked her nephew's wife. Not nephew's wife to Pop, but more like her son's wife, that was blessing him, because Frances, my mum, was what Dad wanted in many ways, this gorgeous woman, young, 10 years younger than him, and absolutely lovely to look at and to cuddle. Yeah. So Pop valued my mum, Frances, and Dad. Whereas Annie, his mum, well, was full of respect for Ernest. At least that's how she presented to us. Not particularly loving, but more curious. Especially of Marshall, whom she thought was adopted because Dad had cloaked the fact that I was born to them both before marriage to each other. Not their fault. In a sense, the law required them to wait. I think it was 3 years before they could marry. You know, you had to wait 3 years for a divorce was finalised, decree nisi or something. Lives are complicated, aren't they? And as you unravel the fabric of it, you see why things were the way they were and in what relationship. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Don't know why I've gone into this with you, dear one. This last bit of this recording. I think it was for my own benefit mostly, I must admit. I felt it was such an insight that came to me about what I know as Aunt Pop, my great aunt. My great aunt too, in the great sense. How nice. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Well, I'm thinking, dear one, I've strayed from the beginning of this recording, which was on the full kindness of God. More than just the kindness, the fullness of God. All. And I've come down to thinking of my great aunt Pop. And who, as I say, died when I was young. But living with Mum and Dad, I was, older than 5. Probably up to about 9 or 10, perhaps. It's a bit historistic, of course, in my mind. Now, coming back to what this recording is rooted in, it's to think, to be aware of the fact that God's kindness to us is through all these people like my great aunt Pop, my mum and my dad, friends, teachers, all sorts of strangers that are less strangers because of their kindness. God's kindness. Every detail of all existence is God's kindness. His motivation, his drive, his energy, his life. Blessing us. So I've said again, foundation principle of all living is life itself, our God. To love him with all heart, soul, mind and strength is therefore the principle. To guide our life, not a burden, of course, dear one, an unutterable joy and fullness of life unto life eternal. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.